Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Kick and Make Up. I'm your host, the American Hybrid, Nick Cunningham. With me, as always, is Jeremy JD Dorsey. What's going on, man?
Not much, bro. Back here at MFS, as you can see in the background. Hopefully, we got all our audio, video difficulties taken care of, and we won't have any trouble with that anymore. So,
Agreed.
be able to put on the show that we've been trying to put on for the past few weeks. So,
and perfect timing too, because there's so much going on in MMA right now. We say that every week that so much to talk about, but there really is this week with the recap of Fuel on UFC on Fuel 10 this past Saturday. We've got UFC 161 coming up on Saturday, and then we've got World Series of Fighting 3 on Friday night on NBC Sports. So we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to kind of tie in everything today into our high kick, low kick, and in our newly named segment that we'll unveil at the end of the show tonight, or today, excuse me. But I'd like to get some of the particulars out of the way first. You are on Kick and Make Up. This is the MMA show that brings you everything you need to know about going on internationally, nationally, locally. We'll talk about underground fights, backyard fight, whatever there is.
Local fighting, because, we're in the Quad City, so
Exactly.
the local fighting scene is pretty big out here, too.
There's multiple ways to get a hold of us. Of course, our newly updated website, thanks to Jeremy here, Kick and Make Up, www.kickandmakeup.com. We've got all the shows archived there. We've got everything that I've written for Ola America. Any blur, we're just going to try to throw up as much as we can on that website. Also, you can hit us up on Facebook. Search for Kick and Make Up, our Facebook homepage. We're actually going to try to do some polls and some voting tonight. When we're done with the show, I'm going to throw up something for you guys to vote on and see what we can get, if we can get some more responses there. Or hit us up on Twitter at Kick and Make Up, or actually on my Twitter as well, at Hybrid MMA. I don't know if, pretty soon you want to throw your Twitter out there too and wait for that maybe a little bit.
I'm kind of tweeted out. Yeah, I don't know. Me and Twitter doesn't get along too well anymore. Man. So.
Well, anyway, there's still four ways to get a hold of us there. So please do that. Like I said, there is so much going on right now. We want to hear your opinion. We want to argue with you on these forums, and then if it's good enough, we'll talk about it on the show. Give you a shout out there. So like I said, hit us up on those 4 avenues. So we are going to break down the show like we do every week in 3 segments. The high kick of the week is what's going on, the biggest thing going on in MMA right now, the either fighter or event. And we'll hit that up pretty soon here. The low kick, which is the biggest thing maybe in the negative light going on. So that's called a low kick. And also, I'll wait to unveil this. So we'll wait for our rant.
Secret.
It's a secret. This is our weekly rant. You guys know we call it the DQ, disqualification round, weekly rant, but we've got a new name. We're going to wait, though. Before we get into the high kick of the show, I want to give a big shout-out to Uncensored MMA Online Radio. They asked me to be a co-host on Monday night. And it went awesome. I had a really good time co-hosting the show. We had they had Eric Koch on, and I got a chance to ask him some questions. He's got a fight August 31st coming up in Milwaukee. Also, Stitch Duran, the legendary cutman of the UFC for, I don't know, the past 10 years probably. And also Tough 9 winner James Wilkes. So thank you guys again for having me on. I hope to do that soon. It was really fun. Good thing to be on. Good practice.
Yeah, I got a chance to listen to a lot of it, and I really like their format. So big shout out to them too. And man, it's awesome that when you can be involved in something that's going to get you to be able to speak with stars like that and people who are legends in the industry. So big shout out to Uncensored.
Right. Thank you guys again. It was awesome. So let's get into our high kick. So this week's high kick goes to Jiu Jitsu in general. It just goes to the whole genre.
The whole discipline of Jiu Jitsu.
Right. Okay. They get half of the trophy this week. Jiu Jitsu gets half the trophy, and Fabricio Werdum gets the other half. So it's a shared high kick this week. And let me break down why we're doing that. So obviously, this past weekend was UFC on Fuel 10. It was in Brazil, and the main event was Fabricio Werdum versus Minotaur Nogueira. So everybody going into that was knowing that this was going to be a very highly elite level of jiu-jitsu being displayed. I don't think anybody thought that there was going to be as many submission wins for the night, and there were 8 of them, which is the highest, the most in UFC history for an event. So that's why jiu-jitsu gets the high kick this week, because you never see that. You might see a couple arm bars, you know, the standard stuff, triangle wins and stuff like that. But usually, I mean, there's only like 10 or 12 fights. So you're talking, you know, 75% of the winners use submissions in jiu-jitsu, and that was awesome. So that's why I kind of give him the nod this week.
Okay. I definitely agree with that, and especially, you know, it's one thing to be at sort of an amateur show. You know, like when you attend the amateur shows, you have tons of submissions in those because, you know, most of the fighters usually aren't quite as skilled and able to escape, you know, once a submission gets thrown in on them. But in you know, the higher levels of MMA, you never see that many submissions in one night. So that's a crazy number, you know, just to go and, you know, see something like that. It's a special night.
And you saw a lot of them too, or at least a few of them early, like Eric Silva, who is an up and coming guy in the UFC. He got his in like under a minute. You know, pull off an armbar in under a minute. And when you're doing that, like you said, an amateur level, you get a fast win, and it's cool. But you're getting wins in the UFC in under a minute. You're really, that's high level right there, because you know, your opponent is at such a high level too, that means you really whipped it off fast, came in from a different angle, did something unique to get the win. So got to give them their nod there. Like I said, it's shared this week for Fabricio Werdum because he did go and beat. This was a rematch against Minotaur Nogueira. Nogueira won the first one, something like 8 years ago. You know, 8 to 10 years ago. So this was a rematch that was, you know, a long time in the making. Both fighters are completely different now, obviously, after almost a decade of fighting. Werdum, even watching some of the clips, Werdum looked like kind of like a kid, really young, and so he's obviously older now, been around the block a little bit more, and did get an armbar submission in the second round. And why it's interesting is because this completely sets up the rest of the year, I think, for the heavyweight division. I was looking too, and after, you know, people have been saying that Fabricio Werdum doesn't get his right dues in the heavyweight division. There's a lot of Dos Santos talk. There's a lot of Cain Velasquez talk, and even Roy Nelson. You know, Roy Nelson's kind of the guy you love to hate. Some people love to hate him. You know, and so he gets a lot of attention, and he brings a lot of attention to himself. But Fabricio Werdum's kind of the quiet guy that's been slowly working his way up the ranks, and basically he's worked his way up to number 4 right now in the heavyweight division with this win. And so what's going to happen now, I think, is that Roy Nelson also fights this weekend, and we talked about that last week. He fights Stipe Miocic or Miocic, whatever you call it, and that's kind of a weird fight right there because Stipe, you know, he kind of got the nod. So if he wins, if he beats Nelson, he's definitely not getting a title shot. He's probably ranked number 8 or 9 or something. But if Roy Nelson beats Stipe, he's definitely up there to get a title shot against the winner of Dos Santos or Cain Velasquez, which is probably going to happen in September, something like that. So what I think is going to happen is if since Werdum won this fight this past weekend, and if Nelson beats Miocic this weekend, which should happen, you know, they're going to have a number 1 contenders fight between the both of them. And so just thinking that only makes sense. That would, you know, put Roy Nelson having to fight one more time instead of getting it. And like I said, with them both ranked pretty much 3 and 4, it just makes sense.
Yep. And, you know, big shout out to Dana White and the powers that be, only because with the you know, the UFC ranking system, it makes it a whole lot easier to sort of see the flow and how these matches sort of line up. If this happens, this is going to happen. And, you know, I'm an avid boxing fan too, and the rankings in that system are pretty much non-existent. And, you know, there's just a jumble. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. You can't figure out why this person is fighting this person. But at least, you know, you can sort of look at a sheet of paper and you can see the top 10 and you can say, okay, these guys, if this person wins this fight, you know, they're going to move up. This person loses, they're going to move down. And you can kind of pick and choose and see exactly what way that these, you know, future potential fights could line up.
Right. And you're actually in, and also too, I have to say that UFC definitely throws in wrenches. There's, you know, we talk about Johnny Hendricks. He's been #1 contender for like a year and a half to 2 years, and they still threw different people out there. So this is what looks to be what would make sense on paper.
Right.
But obviously we're not in those meetings.
Right.
I would also say that this makes sense because Werdum and Nelson have fought before. They fought in February of 2012 at UFC 143. And actually, Werdum beat Nelson. So Nelson's on a 3-fight win streak. It'll be 4 if he wins this weekend. And that's a great storyline. He's on a 3-fight win streak, 4 after this weekend if he wins. And his last loss was to Werdum. So this will be a rematch, #1 contender. That's got UFC countdown written all over it behind the scenes. There's a lot of storyline there. So I would think this is what would make sense. If Miocic beats Nelson, then we've, you know, I don't know.
Ball the rankings up, and
Yep.
I'll take everything that I said about Dana White back.
Yeah. So, you know, you never know, but at least it makes some good everybody will be watching this weekend to see what Nelson does. This isn't a card that's really I don't know. I've talked to people around here too and just have kind of read about it. Nobody's overly excited. I don't even know why I just said overly because I never even say that, but overly excited for this fight or for this card. Like we said last week, Evans, you know, Henderson, not too excited, but definitely people are excited for the Roy Nelson fight. He puts on a good show all the time. It's a co-main event, so we'll have something to watch for this. We are going to go on later on today. I'm going to put up a question on Facebook on the Kick and Makeup page of would you be interested in a #1 contender fight with Roy Nelson and Werdum again, and just see what kind of reaction we get. So definitely look out for that today or tomorrow. We'll put that up for this weekend. Would you be interested in a Roy Nelson Werdum rematch, #1 contender fight, and potentially for that winner to get, you know, the winner of Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez maybe at the end of the year card or something.
Right.
So we will see about that. Definitely, like I said, we need some transitions again. This is the transition to the low kick. Ooh, and that's the sound effect. So I like that better. That was nice. The low kick of the week goes to Bellator. And let me tell you why the low kick goes to Bellator this week. They are going into their 9th season, which congratulations to Bellator. You guys are pretty much the UFC's only competition right now. And doing well. Still got some big names: Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez, just signed Rampage. So some decent names still right now in the company. But they moved to Friday nights for their seats for the 9th season, which starts September 7th in the fall. I think that is a terrible idea, Bellator. Moving to Friday nights, it didn't work for the UFC, and I'm sorry, but if it doesn't work for the UFC, I don't think it's going to work for you. It sounds awesome when you hear about it. Ooh, Friday night fights, live. Bellator's live, so live Friday night fights sounds good, but the demographic that are watching these fights are 18 to 35.
Right.
We're not home on Friday nights. I mean, unless you have a job, second shift job, you're at your job. And even there, you're not going to be able to watch TV because you're working. So you're still not going to, you know, be able to do it. And you're going to DVR it and you're going to watch it Sunday afternoon. So you're going to lose some of the value of watching a live show.
Right.
It used to be on Thursday nights on Spike, which I think was fine. I don't know. There's people that are home from work, even when it was 8, 9 o'clock, and it would replay later. You put your kids to bed at 8 or 9 if they're young, and you're able to stay up and watch it for a little bit.
Right.
Or even, you know, I mean, I don't know. Thursday night just seemed more, and right now is such a pivotal time for Bellator.
Right.
They really need to be thinking of this like a chess match. So I don't know. What do you think about the move to Friday nights?
I don't like it either. Like you said, I can't think of the last time there was a show, you know, maybe back in the old, you know, in the 90s with the TGIF when I was a
Yeah.
kid. And, you know, that was cool. Like, you know, but we were kids though, you
Right.
know, like we were going to be at home. You're not exactly reaching towards the kids with this, you know, this type of show. You're reaching, like you said, the 18 to 35 demographic. And I know for me, at least watching Tough, like it was really cool to have it on a Tuesday night. Like,
Yep.
I mean, literally there's nothing else on TV
Exactly.
during that time. Like it was a perfect time. You know, even if I DVR'd it, more likely than not, I was going to watch it later on that evening. Not
Right.
like you said, like I guarantee a lot of people will do is they're going to DVR the show
Mhm.
and watch it on a Sunday or, you know, maybe the following Monday. And then, you know, it's sort of a lose-lose situation in my mind. You know, a lot of people don't, or a lot of advertisers don't like DVRs because people just fast forward through the commercials and
Right.
they don't watch them. So
Yep.
you would assume that they would lose out on advertising dollars if they're able to do that. So I have to wonder if it was maybe some sort of monetary issue that caused them to want to do it on that day as opposed to, you know, later on or earlier in the week, I should say.
Yeah.
There has to be something going on behind the scenes because that doesn't seem like an ideal slot for that type of show.
And thinking of it too, I want to think that they, with the new Fox Sports One, and also the some of the cards on FX also being, I think they're gonna do Wednesday night fights on for the UFC on Fox Sports One, and so and I don't know if they're gonna do some Friday Fuel cards. So maybe there was something that they didn't want to go head to head,
Right.
obviously with UFC, but still, I just think. I don't know. That makes it hard. There's only 4 Saturdays in a month.
Right.
So, you know, UFC takes up 3 of those 4 usually. But you're going to, I mean, I would still almost be on a Saturday night and have people, you know, out and about.
Right.
If you're at a bar or
Yep.
something, you can
Yep.
have Bellator on one TV and you can have
Right.
UFC on the
Right.
other, and
Right.
you're gonna have people. You're gonna have core fans from each.
Right.
Putting on that Friday night just I think is a bad move. And like I said, if it didn't work for the UFC, I don't see it working for Bellator. But I'm gonna we'll watch it. Obviously,
Yeah, I
we'll
mean-
watch it. It's still good. I'm curious to see what Bellator is gonna do next. Being on Spike now, they do have a reality show that maybe we can talk about soon that they're gonna do. They got great coaches for that. Greg Jackson, Randy Couture. I think
Did I see King Mo?
no. There's four coaches.
Right.
I'm thinking. Oh, Frank Shamrock
Yep.
and I believe Michael Chandler
Okay.
are the 4 coaches. Michael Chandler, that one we can maybe substitute out. I know it's somebody like that. So they're trying to do a reality series too. So they're gonna really have to plug that show in on a good night if they
Right.
haven't already, and we'll have to do some more research to see.
Right.
But you know, it's like I said, this is make or break a year for Bellator. I feel. So we'll see. Maybe, like I said, maybe we're talking and it's going to blow up on Friday
Right.
nights, and Friday night fights come back stronger than ever, and we
Right.
look like jackasses on the show. But at this point, they do get the low kick. So Bellator, good luck with you, and hopefully it works out. And some of the next following shows, you can be on the high kick instead of the low kick.
Yeah, and UFC needs the competition. Like
Right.
nobody wants to see them completely dominate and, you know, absorb every piece of their competition. So I'm really hoping, and you know, and like you said before, we're fight fans, so we're gonna watch it regardless.
Right.
You would think that it would be a little bit smarter to try to get it on a different night if it was possible. And you know, sort of bring in the people who might not necessarily be watching on that sort of night. And then too, I really think that, you know, that midweek, like, you know, the weekends and, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are so jam packed, especially Fridays and Saturdays, with, you know, fight activities, whether it's boxing, whether it's, you know, MMA, let alone the people who go out. Like, it just seems like a really difficult draw to get people to watch something like that, you know, live. And like I said, if you DVR, you're losing the effect of being able to watch something live. So I really hope that they can, you know, have a success on their hands with this
Right.
show.
And we will definitely be reviewing and talking about the first Bellator show. That's not till September, but there's definitely going to be a lot of different things going on with Bellator this summer. So we will keep you guys in the know with Bellator. So with that, we are going to now unveil, and we get the little drum roll. I don't know if you can hear this. That's our drum roll for our last segment, which this is becoming already my favorite segment of the show.
Yep.
This is where we do our weekly rant of something going on that's just outside the box crazy in MMA, and we've been battling the last couple of weeks for a catchy name for this. We used to call it for the first couple of shows the DQ low kick or no contest round. It's just terrible. So unveiling it now, our last segment of the show is going to be called That's Some BullKick.
That's some BullKick.
That's some BullKick, man.
You can't just say like that's some BullKick.
That's true, man.
That's some BullKick.
That's some BullKick.
Gotta get the head shake.
Right.
Gotta raise the voice.
Good. I like that. I like that. I've been told I have a monotone voice.
T-shirts coming soon.
That's some BullKick.
T-shirts coming soon.
So this is our weekly rant on what the hell is going on in MMA. Like, really, that's some BullKick. And so the award for That's Some BullKick goes to NBC Sports this week. NBC Sports, that's some BullKick that you did not advertise World Series of Fighting 3, the debut of Jon Fitch, tomorrow night, better than you did. I saw one trailer on Facebook. Yep. I didn't see... And I have NBCnews.com as my homepage for my freaking computer at work and at home. And I watch NBC News. I mean, I don't, whatever. CBS, I watch you guys too, and Fox, I don't want to. But I watch the Today Show a lot. Yeah. I watch NBC a lot. And I didn't see one commercial. I didn't see nothing. And I feel like this is what happened when, like a couple of years ago, Bellator was on NBC at like 1 a.m., like after Saturday Night Live or whatever, and nobody knew about it, but there was these live, you didn't know about it then. So NBC, I don't know what you're doing. Fox, and then I'm going to pass it to you after, I'm going to throw the computer up in there. Fox, during the football season, you saw trailers, and I mean they even have the countdown to they have their countdown or in the cage, whatever. So Fox is doing their share of advertising. CBS, when it was on, they were showing Strikeforce commercials, Gina Carano, Fedor. Everybody is doing that. FX and Spike, you see Spike is the MMA channel, know. Right. And so I don't know what you're doing, NBC, because you're a huge network and nobody knows that you have a fight on tomorrow night at 10 p.m. That's some BullKick.
Yeah, that is some BullKick, and especially it's even bigger BullKick if you consider that on NBC right now you have the Stanley Cup Finals, and you have a huge sporting event
on
NBC.
Yeah,
and then you have a sport like hockey, which I know a lot of hockey fans are fight fans.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even think of that aspect.
Yeah, like you have NBC doesn't air a lot of sports during prime time.
Right.
You have a huge opportunity. All it takes is, once or twice during the show, 15 seconds for them to say, just coming out of a break that, we have this event coming on, NBC Sports Channel. And, the channel is relatively new. So, you would think that they would, try to put their best foot forward to put it out there. And you're losing a huge opportunity when you have this. And, the Stanley Cup is, Chicago versus Boston, two huge markets. You got all the Midwest, all of East Coast. Right. And, it's a no-brainer to advertise. And, it's not coming out of their budget. Mm-hmm. It's something that they can just throw in. You could throw it in before before a face-off and anything. And you would think that they would do that. But like you said, I haven't seen anything. The only reason I even knew about it was because, in our pre-show meeting when we talked about it. And, then I went on, tried to find the trailer and stuff. And I found it on YouTube. And, it's just like,
right.
Why would you do that?
And for me, too, I didn't even know that they had a website. I just did www.wsof.com, and that was the website. So I was like, okay, cool. At least she didn't make it impossible to find. But I don't get it. You've got Jon Fitch, who I don't even know, and this is something I talked about earlier in the week. I wrote in something that was complaining about Jon Fitch. I don't know why he even got cut from the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
He lost one fight to Damian Maia, and they cut him. I understand that the fans would always say he's a boring fighter, but he went in there, grinded you out, won fight after fight, had a huge fight with George St. Pierre a couple of years, about 4 years ago. Hung in there. St. Pierre couldn't stop him. It was a 5-round battle. Both fighters looked terrible at the end.
Similar styles, just like you said, the grind out. And, real quick to interrupt, but, just it flew in my head that, a lot of people had the same complaints about GSP, that his fights are, grind them out, just going to get the W. And, I don't understand, why he got dropped, why Fitch got dropped, from UFC as well.
But even talking about that, like NBC, like you have a top welterweight in Jon Fitch that you're debuting tomorrow night. I believe he's still top 10 in the whole in the world. So, might not be the most flashiest of the top 10s, but you are debuting a top 10 caliber fighter on your network. It's your third show. I understand the first couple of shows didn't have a lot of star power. Okay, you've got your star power now. And it blows my mind that they're not capitalizing on this and just kind of going to the wayside. I would even think like tomorrow night, like replay it on regular NBC. I don't know what's going on like with NBC versus NBC Sports. I don't know. I know they're not rivals, obviously, because that's your sister company.
Yep.
And I don't know if
all under the same umbrella.
So I would think you could replay the fights on Saturday night. Like Saturday night after Saturday Night Live, like replay them at midnight. You're gonna get some more viewers there. Like I don't understand. Like you and I didn't go, to school for marketing and TV, and it just sounds like a no-brainer to me. Like all those people that work there, nobody thought of this. Like that's some BullKick.
Pretty much.
That's some BullKick. So we are going to go to the Facebook page later on today, and we're going to put up some polls. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to have you guys vote. First, we're going to have you guys kind of comment and see if you also think that's some BullKick for Jon Fitch. What do you guys think about Fitch? Any thoughts about World Series of Fighting? Maybe we completely missed it. Maybe they had a whole day of commercials. I doubt it because we do pretty well. But if we're wrong and they had a whole World Series of Fighting day, that press day, that all live from wherever that we missed, like let me know. But I know they didn't. We're also going to put up there and have you guys vote on if you like the name of our new rant title. That's some BullKick. What do you guys think? You think that's something that you would wear on a shirt, like you said? That's something you'd put on a sticker on the back of your car? Going around town, write us in. Like I've got some ideas. This is what I think. That's some BullKick, Nick and Jeremy. I think that this is something that we, that could grow and.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So definitely, if we're gonna have you like this, yes or no. Put no, and put why you don't, and some more ideas. And if we see something, we'll try it out next week. Another theme title, but for now, I think that's some BullKick, man. That's what we're gonna roll.
I like it.
So yeah, we that about wraps it up. I'm gonna try to work on some segments of after. So I feel like we go into one and go to the next one, and then it's all done. Goodbye. like we just kind of I'm gonna work on some things with you. We can talk about some graphics.
How about some credits?
I like credits too. I like.
We can roll some credits with two names, and it's just our name and your name.
Right. Something, man. Like I said, we're just done, and that about sums it up for the week.
Yeah.
But that does about sum it up for the week for Kick and Makeup. Next week, we're going to review World Series of Fighting. We're going to review and talk about UFC 161, Henderson and Evans, and everything else that goes along with that card. So we've got two huge cards to talk about. We've got, and then we're going to probably next week start to dive into a little bit of the 4th of July weekend.
Right.
Huge fight with Silva and Weidman. It is also the UFC Fan Expo weekend in Vegas. So definitely starting to kind of preview some of those fights. A lot, like I said, once again, a lot to talk about. Also, we want to get some more information out to you guys. I actually give the particulars again now. Kick and Makeup, www.kickandmakeup.com is where you can go and see all of our shows archived. Like I said, the Facebook page, hit us up at Kick and Makeup. And like I said, there'll be some different things on there tonight. So definitely look for some activity on there. Or at Twitter at Kick and Makeup, or mine at Hybrid MMA. And
Maybe if you just want to talk to me, you can hit me up at the Kick and Makeup Twitter address.
Twitter us, that Kick and Makeup.
I don't know why anybody would want to talk to me.
There it is.
There you go.
We need some dialogue all around, man.
Yeah,
like I said,
I agree.
I liked when we disagree on the last show.
Yeah.
It gets,
yeah.
So I know something we said today out there you didn't agree with. So who's gonna be the one that comes on and makes it official?
Yep.
That you didn't agree with us and get something going.
Yep.
Like,
if you think we on some BullKick, let us know.
let us know.
Let us know.
Because right now, I think everything I said is 100% correct and great. Everything you said today, 100% great, correct.
Yep. Prove me wrong.
Prove us wrong. So that's about it from me, the American Hybrid, Nick Cunningham, Jeremy, J.D. Dorsey, Kick and Makeup, MMA, and remember, don't solve it in the streets. Take it to the cage and kick and make up.
Hiya.